All right, so we're using stat on TI84 to fill in our charts. Miss Jones needs you to make some corrections on your steps, okay? Can you look on the board at the red mistakes that I made? So on your step 3 notes, on your step 3 of the notes, it should be L2 minus L3, and I flipped it. So it should be L2 minus L3 on your notes from yesterday. And then on step 5, all the 4s should be 5s. So it should be second stat 5 or sum 5. On our notes from yesterday. Right here, the notes that look like this. Yeah. We're making these corrections. Okay. So the other thing I want to point out to you is that I wrote for you to go to second stat, but you can get to all of your L1s, L2s. So L1, L2, L3, L4, L5. All of these by pressing the second button and whatever number you need. Does that make sense? So if I need L1, I would press second 1. If I need L2, I would press second 2. If I need L3, second 4. Does that make sense? Yes, do we see that? Huh? Yeah. Does it make sense? That's all I asked. Second 1 gives me L1. Do we see that? Second 2 gives me L2. Second 3. Second 4. Second 5. Second 6. Before they updated the calculator, I got very used to you having to go to second stat to get to those values, but they're on your calculator. So you don't have to like go through second stat to get to them anymore. You can just hit second and whatever number you need. Does that make sense? All right. So my steps are a little rusty because they have the old method with the second stat. All right, but I'm going to clear my calculator. Second plus 712. After I clear my calculators, I'm going to go through the 5 steps, okay? So step 1 says that I'm going to go to stat 1, edit, and input my given data. So my given data is here. Jasmine's information, my L1 and my L2. So all I'm doing is stat 1 and typing in. That's all I'm doing. And again, if you don't follow along and do this, this will be something foreign to you and you won't feel comfortable doing it. We have to re-input the data. We're not following. All we've done is step 1. We went to second stat. We went to stat 1 and typed our information. That's all you've had to do at this point. Can I get a thumbs up that we're okay at step 1? Yeah. What? Why are we not okay at step 1? Oh, you're pressing stat? No, baby. Just press stat. Stat by itself. Edit. Just press the button. I promise you. Okay. All right. After we've done that, step 2 says we're going to find our expected Y values, right? So looking at step 2, it says find expected Y's. Do we see that? It says that you're going to arrow over to L3. When it says arrow over to L3, you're literally going to go to L3. You want to make sure that L3 is bolded. And you're going to type in your given equation. However, instead of us typing in X, we're replacing our X with L1. That's because we're telling the calculator that we wanted to use these values in the equation. Does that make sense? So I'm telling the calculator I want it to use the L1 values in my given equation. For Jasmine, our given equation is here. It's 1 and 900 x minus 281. So I'm typing 1 and 900, but instead of x, I wanted to recognize my L1 are these values. So I'm going to press second 1 to get L1 minus 281. I hit enter, and it's going to auto-populate my expected y values. Okay. Again, all I did was arrow over L3. I typed in my expected function. My expected is 1 and 900 times my list that I have in column 1 minus 2 and 8100ths. I hit enter and it populated.
Minus L2.
Just L. Where are you at? All I did was write L1. Like, guys, you got to learn to trust notes. It says right here, here's an example. In your L3, you should have your slope times L1 plus your y-intercept, whatever's given to you. And then you press enter. Okay, now you're going to find the difference. To find our difference, it says, let's go through the steps again. To find your difference, you're going to, that's our residual, arrow over to L4, press second 3 minus second 2. Remember, I made a typo, those 3's and 2's switched. I didn't switch them everywhere. This should be a 2, and this should be a 3. Because I'm human and I made a mistake. So I'm going to arrow over to L4, and L4, I'm pressing second 2 minus second 3. That's, I'm telling it to subtract list 2 minus list 3. I press enter and it's going to populate that difference.
Not giving you the right values for L3.
That means you put something in wrong. So go back and retype, because you can't go back and edit, you only can redo. So your L3, you should have written 1.09, second 1. Go there. 1.09, second 1, minus 281. Okay. Okay, now we're on to our residual squared. So follow the steps for your residual squared. It says to find your residual squared, we're going to arrow over to L5. We're going to press second stat 4, or you can just press, I swear I wrote these numbers. Then you're going to square it. All right. So I'm over to L5. I'm putting parenthesis, second 4. I need L4. And I'm going to square it. It's supposed to look like this. It even says you should see L4 squared. Once you have that, you press enter and it's going to auto-populate. I press enter and it auto-populated. .0121, yes, it is. Okay, now my table is filled. I have all of my set table values. Okay. The final step is to find our sum. So to find your sum, what does it say we need to do? We're going to go second mode. And if there's extra stuff, you can clear it away second stat, right arrow, math 5. Okay. I'm going to hit second mode. I have nothing here. I'm going to go second stat, arrow to the right to math. And I'm looking for the sum. So I press 5. And I want the sum of my list 5. So I'm going to press second 5 to have list 5. And it's going to calculate the sum. So my sum is 241 and 97. So looking at the sum between Jasmine and Stella, who's the lowest right now?
The lowest is
Stella. So that means Stella is the one that is the most right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because her sum is the smallest. So what we did here is we filled in all of our values, right? The calculator auto-populated our expected Y, our difference, and our residual squared, and found our sum. Yes? All right. So what I want you to do is your turn to practice. Okay? You either pick to practice option 1 or option 2, and you're going to find Brandy's. Got it? I'm going to give you roughly 5-ish minutes. So you pick your poison
so Brandy.
to find Brandy's. Okay, so let's check in and see how you did. So Brandy, I did it with the data so that I wouldn't have to write it down because I know that's so lazy that I didn't want to write. And I ended up with my L3 and my L4 being filled in for me, and a sum of 306 and 900. So Brandy was our most incorrect of them all because her area was the highest, the largest. All right, how do we feel?
Somewhat comfortable.
Somewhat comfortable. Okay. There is an exit ticket on your canvas over 1.1D. But I kind of wanted to go and do part 2 really quick because it's going to be the easiest of it all. But there is an exit ticket for you to do. There are 6 questions for your exit ticket to answer. And yeah, they come from your notes for the most part. But we're going to go ahead and dive into part 2 because it's going to be the fairly easy. Okay. All right.